cool. So this one is kind of a treat for you guys. I wish it was more of a breakdown, but today is just going to be more of a show and tell kind of day, and then we're going to work our way up to a finished product. All right, amen in the chat. Say amen. Okay.
Amen.
So what we have right now is a rough mix, and the importance of recording clean is this right here. Listen to this.
Well, hello there. It's your girl Chastity here, and I'm so honored to be a part of this project. My bro Yana and her are gonna do big things. So relax, sit back, and enjoy. Yeah. Right.
All right, that's a rough mix. That's literally just
Rough.
that's a rough mix. I'll tell you why it's a rough
This
mix. There's nothing on the channel strips. Nothing.
Jeez, man.
Nothing on the channel strips.
But this speaks to, okay, I want to jump in and say this real quick because this is what I always like to preach, and we used to use this as a quick segment real quick, is that good recording, good mixes come from good recordings all day. So if you want a good recording, a good mix, you got to get a good recording. Mixing isn't fixing. It's mixing, it's leveling, it's getting things ready for commercial release. It's not this. So the fact that sounds so clean, and that is how he got it out the gate. Yo, let's dig in more to this. I'm just, that's the rough mix. His rough mix sounds better than my main mixes. Let's go. Let's go. Let's dig in, man. How do we get here?
Yeah, for sure. So we can start with the drums, and let's start with that. So what's happening here is this is actually my template. So a lot of the work has already been done for me. So on the kick drum, we have the SSLG channel, and I have it on a really mean preset that I love. I tweaked this preset, but it's giving us this. So if I take that off, it'll sound like this. Turn it back on. So it's just focusing on the kick. So I'm getting rid of the boxiness out of here, around this 200, stuff like that. So we got about 8.2 dB of gain reduction in the boxy area. And then I'm turning up some of the higher frequencies. So we got about 6.6 dB of 3.7 kilohertz. And then we have the top end of the beater. It's about 9.3 dB of, what is it going to tell us? About 8K basically. So that's what's happening with the kick drum. That's why it sounds so focused. The other juicy side about this plugin is the right side. So I'm getting some really good compression out the gate. So we have, let's see, what is it? Yep, that's the release. Let's go to the ratio. So we have about a 5:1 ratio of compression. And then we're backing down, not much, as you guys can see. It's only about -2 dB. So we're not reducing a whole lot. And then we have the expanding area. So what I love about expanding versus gating, expanding gives us a nice smooth transition as the gate closes or as the door closes. It's not like it just slams shut. It's just like a nice close, open. So that's why I love expansion. So that gives us this. So you see it's just real smooth. So that's all on the SSL. So then we have, I know the Rev is waiting on this, the trigger on the kick drums. I didn't need them. I wanted them just because I wanted to have the gospel feel, that modern feel. So on our triggers, we have two of them. We have the Everyday from the Yosh Drum Warehouse. And then let's go over here. And then in combination with that, we have the We have the Nick kit. So I have the Legacy stuff. So if you guys are looking for these, it's just go to the Yosh Drum Warehouse Legacy.
And you'll see the QR code there if you guys want to. Yo, that's thick, bro.
So, yeah, I just want it though. So all of that in combination with my kick sounds like this. Just my kick. So it kind of makes the kit 3-dimensional now, like 3D. It doesn't so 1D. And the second reason why I actually added some of these samples is because on my drum mic setup, I only have overheads left and right and a ride cymbal. I don't have a room mic or mics when I did this recording. So I'm playing off of that and saying, all right, I have more of a 2D recording. Samples will make it sound 3D. So same thing on the snare. We have my snare raw. Then we have some verb on there too. That's Logic for you. And then we have again the G channel that transforms it, makes it sound like this. So you hear how it's coming in and out nice and smooth. That's the difference between a gate being on and an expander. So we have it more on the expansion side. So same kind of thing going on. I slammed this kind of hard, so the ratio is way more intense with 10-to-1 ratio. And then we're squashing this down.
Sheesh.
So we're squashing it down so we could get a nice, nice attack. You know what I mean? So,
jeez.
Yeah, it's a little extreme. People are afraid to make bold moves. I don't know why, but you can make bold moves. You're allowed to do that. Like if it sounds good, do it.
Yeah.
So then we have the combination snare. This one is more of a squash. Let me see. What is this one doing? I'm curious to see myself now. Oh, this is Squash the Kingdom Come.
Mm-hmm.
With no attack.
So what you did right there, you duplicated the snare. This is your main snare. You duplicated it, and then you just slapped the snot out of it with a compressor, basically. You're parallel compressing your snare in just on a different channel, kind of like it's not busting it out to a compressor.
Right.
You duplicate it. So what's the science behind that? Why you would do that versus just parallel compressing it, just sending it out to a bus with a compressor on it? Why duplicate it?
Yeah, I duplicated it. Y'all gonna be mad at my answer. It's just convenient. It's just the convenience.
It's just convenience.
Yeah, I mean, because again, this is from tracking. So I literally just took the snare and just hit boop, duplicated it, and then just
squashed it.
So yeah, but be careful with this with phase. Like don't be oblivious to phase. You can create phase issues. So the one way to bulletproof yourself on phase is go ahead, go to your utility, go to gain, mono, and then flip just slap it. Yeah, flip just in case. But I didn't have any issues on my side. I didn't need it.
But that's a good point. Sometimes it's just about speed. It's not always about a reason. And I just wanted to probe your mind to make sure that it wasn't anything different, because I do a lot of things like that. Just duplicate it and just move on because you're trying to work fast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this template has been law, and this template has been law for any of my gospel sessions. It's more refined now, but it's still the same blood and guts. So that's that. And so then we have 3 snare triggers from the warehouse. Go to the Legacy. We have the Vinny, the Slate, and the Joy. They probably have different names, so you have to listen for them. But these are the Legacy joints. So the first snare is this. Ring.
Yeah, that's that Joey. Yeah.
So lots of ring from that one. Then we have the Joey as well.
Oh, that Joey right there. Yeah. The first one was the Vinny, right?
Yeah, that's Vinny.
Yep.
And then I put my own little sample in there. So all 3 samples give us this.
Mm.
Now it's very low in retrospect to my acoustic snare.
Woo.
I mean, it's majority of my snare that's carrying it. You only hear the ring of the samples, but you hear the attack and the realness from my snare.
Yeah.
So a lot of that is again attributed to a good recording. Because if I take the samples out of my kit, and then we just solo the drums, I mean, we're gonna get a pretty good sound.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's all me. That's
yeah.
You know,
No, that's clean.
So I just, again, style preference, I wanted them in there. I was like, I want that sound.
Woo. But yours is still prevalent. It's still sitting on top of all of that, and you're getting that crack and that ring and that weight from the samples.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it cuts through it because you got what? How many? Well, I know you got like 1,000 other tracks under all of that that's trying to cut through.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, I mean, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like that's light work. So,
jeez.
Yeah, my Chastity, she gave me some light work on this session. Like the BGVs wasn't nothing out of this world this time around. Usually I would have 40 track BGVs.
Right.
So she gave me some light work. So it was pretty easy. So that's what's going on there. Tom's, I have to kill you guys for showing you this after. So I got all of your IP addresses. I got it in my notepad. And I see everybody. So after this, I'm coming after everybody and just take you out. Nah, on the toms, it's a 3-chord fold. All right. So one good playing. The way I'm hitting the toms is the first thing. I can't express that enough, guys. It's literally how you hit the drum. So first chord of the 3-chord fold, performance. Listen to how the toms are being hit. Even. You can look at the transients and tell.
Yep.
The second thing is the recording. So if I get this into, there we go, reasonable, transient, you can see they're all kind of consistent. Got a good recording. The recording of the toms are good. You see what I'm saying? So that's dry. There's nothing on the toms. That's a little bit of the reverb from the bus, but we can turn that off. There we go. So we're getting a good recording. That's the next thing, and then finally we can get to the mix. So it's how we have to do a whole nother video on how to hit drums. So
yeah, definitely.
It's a science to it, like the touch, and then the plugins will respond to how you played. So we have the SSL G channel. It's gonna be a little monotonous, guys. So we got the G channel on the toms as our first line of defense. Now I'm using the G channel because it's giving me the nice, say it with me, expansion. So the expander is working in our favor to add or give us the illusion of we cross-faded each tom after it was hit. Listen to how the fade is on each one as I go across the rack toms. See there? So it's in order of how the drums were hit and they respond. The plugins respond. So I'm using the same plugin on each tom. So a hack for you guys, if you do have the G channel from Waves, a hack for you is start with the rack tom preset. That'll save your life. Now that's not Bible. You will have to tweak it. So I've tweaked it. They give you maximum release on this and they just let it ring loud and proud. Not on this type of record. Maybe on a Dilla record or something. Hip hop, fine. But on this one, no. We want clean, transparent toms. So use the rack tom setting, and then on the floor tom, you can use, for you guys to take home for leftovers, is use the floor tom preset and work from there. This will get you some really good tom tones. So then after that, we go into CLA drums. Well, we have the virtual mix rack, but it's just saturation. Saturation is nice. But after that, then we go into CLA drums. This is why I said I was going to shoot everybody after this, because this is a gym. It's going to do even more work for us to make us sound like pros, and we are pros. So let's hit the space bar on the CLA. Hear that? Now it makes it sound like we're at a stadium, like we just arrived at an award show. So then last but not least, we have the SSL EQ. I went to this because because of all of the other instruments that the drums has to play together with, I had to brighten up the toms even more. So that sounds like this. And you can feel that attack difference. Without it on, it's like getting meaner subtly. Cool. We got the toms. Then the hi-hats. This is fail-safe for me. The virtual mix rack from Slate is a blessing. So I've done the wrong way to do this. Stay with me. You're technically supposed to EQ first and then go into a compressor so the compressor doesn't have to fight. I actually did not do that. I went to a compressor first to compress the whole sound as is. I don't mind this compressor taking in all the heat because I used a pencil mic on the hi-hat and I did a roll-off on that mic. Therefore, I'm already getting an affected sound before it even hit the DAW. So I can go into a compressor first. If I used a SMB or any other type of dynamic microphone and I didn't do a roll-off, then the EQ would be first, but it's not. So compressing kind of hard on the hi-hat. Let's go to where we're grooving. Oh, it's not as hard as I thought. So we're getting a nice amount of compression here. I thought it was going to be more deadly, but it's a template, so it makes sense. And you can hear the compressor working with that snare kind of jumping a little bit. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of jumping up, but it's controlling the focus on the hi-hat. Then we have the Neve here rolling off to about 160. This says 135, but 160-ish, 135. Rolling off the low here even more, so it's more focused. So if I turn this off, you can hear more low, and you'll need headphones for this for sure. Turn it on. It just takes away the mud, the focus from the kick drum, and focuses on the hi-hat. That's all that's happening there. So on the overheads, we are in a bus. So nothing is really happening on the channels itself. We're on the overheads bus. So we're going to come over here. And then same approach. I rolled off on my overheads as well. So I went into a compressor first. What's up, sis? Let's follow the overheads. So notice I'm getting a good capture of the entire kit. Like just grooving, you can hear and feel the drums. So I rolled off over here on the Neve to about, again, 160. Let's turn this off and let's listen to the overheads. The overheads sound juicy. Let's go over to where we got crash, crash, and fills and fills. See there? Nice and full. I almost wanted to keep the overheads like that because they sound so good raw, but we got to make space for the rest of the instruments and the sonics of the record. So we did a roll off. So it kind of makes it sound like the drums are further away, but that works in our favor because our direct signal stuff, the hi-hat, the snare, the kick, all of those are now going to get pushed to the front, and the overheads are going to take a back seat and just focus on the cymbals. So all of that combined gives us this. So you see how it's allowing the direct drums, especially those toms, they're more focused. If you don't roll off as much on your overhead, sometimes they can consume the rest of your drum kit. So you just got to really be intentional about mic positioning and recording. So what we're going to do now, since that was the only thing that was technically pre-mixed, I hear John stepping in.
No, I was going to say, that's solid, man. I just wanted to, there's no questions or anything like that, but this is really, really dope, man. These are some of the plugins that Jan was using. I was trying to, for whatever reason, it won't show up at the bottom like the normal ones do. Here's the Slate Digital plugin, that QR code up in the corner. You can scan that. That'll take you to get the Slate Digital VMR that he was showing. You can screenshot that, and then you can tap on it later in your camera roll, and it'll actually take you to the link. The CLA Drums plugin that he was talking about for the toms, that's the QR code for that. So again, you can screenshot this, scan it later. Here's the Waves SSL bundle that he was talking about, where he was showing where he was doing the gating and the expanding.
Subscription.
Get on that subscription. That's going to be the easiest way for you to get all of that, the easy way.
That's
but
the
you can
only way you go get it now.
Well, they went back to buying it. You could buy it. You could buy it out right now.
Whoa.
Yeah. They switched back. Yeah. Waves switched back.
It's a la carte.
A la carte, and they got because all these links that I'm sending are a la carte by links.
Wow.
So you could actually buy this plugin using that link. So yeah, they switched back. It's not subscription anymore. It's still subscription. Subscription is an option, but you got the a la carte option back on the table because of all of that heat that they got slapped with when they dropped the joint. So we'll put them up again for you guys. There's the Waves SSL bundle. This is the CLA Drums plugin, and then here is the Slate Digital VMR, and you can get the Slate VMR without being on the Everything Bundle subscription too. I think it's $149. You can actually buy the plugin through that. So I just wanted to highlight that. That's to help out.
This is the CLA 2A. It's a different version of the whole drum kit just being slammed. So that's this. I mean, let me turn it up. What is it at? 16.4. Remember that, y'all. 16.4. So I'm combining that version in with the clean drums. So it's at 16.4. So I'm going to put it back. Yeah, that's what it is. Not going to always just type that in too. But there it is. Okay, 16.4. So just slamming the whole drum kit on there. So I took the live drums, went out of bus 10, and then went into the PC drums that way. And then you can see here's the corresponding channel. Bus 10. So that's how that's working. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
That's smart, bro. That's super smart.
Mixing is a very, very hard art to master. I know because I've been trying to master this art for several years. That is one of the reasons why I do Mix Mondays. It's a learning environment, and every mix that I do, I learn something new. And I've taken everything that I've learned over the years and we have poured it into our mixing templates. Mixing templates are a great starting place, and we have created several templates that allow you to get up and going quickly, and we have created them for Logic Pro X. We have created them for Pro Tools, for Studio One, for Ableton Live, and so many others. So if you're interested in taking your mixing to the next level, or even just getting started, make sure you check out these links down below in the description of this video and grab your template today. All right, back to the show.
So as a producer, I would actually send my stuff out like this. Of course, I would send them dry, give them the option, but I would actually print all of my stuff on like this, or pass in the real life situation a Pro Tools session. I would send someone a Pro Tools session with all of it that I've already done. And then they can go in after what I've done and do the cleanup. So I'm going to be that guy. So I'm going to come back in here and say, all right, man, let's go to where everything is going to be affected. So let's go to your drum bus and let's start cleaning. So I'm going to go to Pro Q and I'm going to start doing clean work. So I'm going to solo these and then we're going to move on real quick. We don't need 10 hertz of drums. We don't need 10 hertz. So we're gonna back off on that to about like a bare minimum of 27. Look at all that meat left over. So yeah, we're gonna do back to 27. So that's the first line of work. Second line of work is the all of the drum programming. So we got all of this stuff right here. So let's do this. And for Logic users, I'm going to put you on game with shortcuts, rapid fire. You can highlight all of this stuff right here, and you can do Command U, and it'll loop around this cycle that you just highlighted. Command U. So we're going to loop that. That's our drum loop. To make your life easier, we're going to do track stack. So you can right click on this and you can do create a track stack. And then we're going to do summing stack. And how I'm going to actually mix this for Mix Mondays is you can use any EQ you want. I personally love to use the Pro EQ because it has a nice graph and it doesn't damage the source when you start making surgical moves. It doesn't damage the sound of the original recording. So we're going to roll off. Why do we need 14 hertz of a percussion? That doesn't make any sense. So we're going to roll all that off. See there? So now the drums, the loop sounds more cleaner. Doesn't have all that coming in from the cowbell, coming in from the shaker, all of that. So you can kind of knock it all out at once by doing it on a bus or a track stack. Guys, that's all it needs. It doesn't need to be compressed or smashed or saturation. If anything, I might put a little bit of virtual mix rack, like some type of saturation on there like that. Virtual mix rack. And the only thing I'm going to use from this is just the saturation. I'm not going to use anything else. Yeah, it already feels better already just listening to my headphones because headphones have a lot of low end on them. It already feels better. So I'm naming that perk. So that's mixed, just saturation and EQ. We mixed the drums down already. We already talked about that. Let's talk about the bass. All right, I'm going to show you guys some pro tips today. So what we're going to do is we're going to see where this bass is hitting on the frequency with Pro Q. So we're kind of around the 183-ish area based on what I saw. So we're safe to roll off to, I actually like the sub of the bass, so I'm just going to stop at 22. I like sonics. I like low end. So I'm going to stop at 22. No more than that. Everything above that is going to come down. Everything above that is going to come down. So I'm just going to roll off. What I'm doing is I'm starting to focus in where the bass really is. I'm gonna show some love to the low end, about 60 hertz. This is what it sounds like. Let's solo it. See that? That's where we recognize where that bass is gonna be. Cool. So, and I got all these plugins. Of course, it's gonna, pimp out on us. So what we're gonna do now is, a pro tip is get a good sound out the gate. So if we go to the source, which is the actual plugin itself, this is for producers. This is gonna help you help your mixing engineer. The cutoff right now is at 746. You might need to go a little bit more intense. Check this out. From your sounds, you might have to get a little bit more aggressive, and this is going to help your mixing engineer. So I turn up the cutoff. So if we listen to that with the song. See how it's cutting through on its own from the source. Let's take this back to where it was. It was like 746. Let's say you didn't have it. You're the mixing engineer. The producer didn't do it. How do you fix it? So here's one way to do it. Come over here to a plugin I like to use, and it is called Saturn. Saturn works really good on key basses because you can hone in on those frequencies where they are. So
love Saturn, man.
Yes, sir. We're gonna go to Saturn. It does wonders on this. So let's say this is you. This is the scenario you got. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna find the sweet spot of what we want to saturate, hence the name. So let's come over here real quick. I like these two bands a lot. Now, what I'm going to do to this band is add some nice saturation. So we're going to go with gentle saturation. All the way up. You hear it getting nastier. It's doing the same thing like when we played with the cutoff on the actual instrument itself. So we're adding more of the harmonics that wasn't there before. Then let's go to the next one. Let's listen to the top end. This is the iPhone area. We need this like a lot. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go to subtle saturation. Cool. All right. Now let's listen to it. You hear that bass cut through everything. That is a good problem to have. Now we can just turn it down. So that's more on the extreme side. We could go ahead and turn it down just a little bit. Feels good. Like I heard what I did. How do we make it feel good? So you might have to back off and mess around. The bass roll is literally the same thing. So it's the same instrument. So we could just use the same plug-in on both of those. Or we could have just bust the two together. That's the bass. That's solid. I'm going to commit to that. We have an 808 coming up. We're on the low end side still. So this is from the production session. I bumped up this 1K area. Like what is this? About 1400.
Jeez.
So I bumped that up from tracking. So again, an engineer would have to, work with that. So they'll be like, oh yeah, that 808 is in there. I'm not gonna mess with what, Jan did. I'm gonna come behind him with maybe just making sure that, again, maybe about 11 hertz is decent for 808. I don't mind 808s being low. They're subs. So it doesn't bother me. So I'll probably roll off about 11 hertz max.
The way you love me anyway, in spite of me, honestly.
So what I would do from there, after doing that, then I would definitely grab for another plugin that is going to make this sound even more intense. It's from Output. It's called Thermal. And what this does is add a dramatic amount of saturation, like as dramatic as needed. 808s and Thermal play well together. Turn the drive up.
Ooh.
That's how it responds to 808s. So we can say, do we want an extreme amount, reasonable amount? I'm not going to leave it at that balance, but I'm just trying to sound shape the 808 to fit in the song where it feels good. So let's play it with the song.
And there's something about the way you love me anyway, in spite of me, honestly.
So that's cool. Now we can play around with the wetness and blend that in.
And there's something about the way you love me anyway, in spite of me, honestly. And there's something about the way you love me anyway.
So that's I'm in headphones right now. In my subs, I'll probably be more gracious with the volume of it. But what I'm trying to go after is the top end of that 808. So even after that Thermal, I'm actually going to reach for a little bit more top end. So I'm just going to make my life easier. Find plugins that can do what you want it to do as simple as possible, like especially if you're on a time clock. So what I'm just going to do is grab the SSL EQ because it's simple and I can just grab it, get what I want, get the saturation from the analog plugin being on and move on. So that's that 1 to 3K area that I want for the top end of the 808 high mid frequency. So I'm going to dial this down about 3K and get some more of that.
And there's something about the way you love me anyway.
There it is.
In spite of me, honestly.
You hear that clun, clun.
And there's something about the way you love me. And there's something about the way you love me anyway. In spite of me, honestly.
Now you'll be able to hear that 808 on your phone. And it feels good hearing the tail end of that 808 and the bass getting ready to come in.
In spite of me, honestly, I don't know why you chose me.
See, they got the same characteristics now from the synth bass and the 808, but we use two different plugins to achieve the same goal. So, like I said, I'm gonna give y'all the industry stuff today. This is a vocal chop that isn't mixed.
So before you move on from the 808s, man, I need to show you some definite love on that because those 808s is smacking, and I know they start at the source.
Yeah.
And because they start at the source, if you guys don't know, Jan, on top of being a producer, engineer, and all around boy wonder, he's also a developer, man, and creates his own products and things like that. And so I got a QR code up there in the corner. Please hit that. If you like the way that those 808s sound, I went ahead and jumped on his website real quick and found the link to the that's Hunter 808s, and that's the QR code up in the corner. Go ahead, snap that, show Jan some love because he is sitting here pouring out, like he's just said, industry secrets. Now we're gospel heads, but every now and again we get some R&B, we get some trap, we get some urban, and you're gonna want to come back and listen and look at stuff like this. So the fact that he's pouring out this information, which is extremely valuable, I think it warrants some sort of support. Buy it, even if you ain't a producer like that. Buy it and then gift it to somebody else that you know needs it and could use it. A producer that you know can do it. But I just want to show some love and some support to my man Jan. Y'all make sure y'all snap that up, and even if you don't need it, send it to somebody that you know needs to snap it and send it over and say, hey man, some fire 808s. I was on this stream and this dude was killing and they sound cool. I know you into this sort of thing. Like, yo, go ahead, check these joints out because they killing. All right, commercial over. And you could get back to your joint.
It's good, man. I appreciate that, Rev. Real talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I don't have any reason for the vocal chop being right after the 808. I really don't. It's just there. So I just use it as a filler in the beginning because she didn't sing anything right there. So it was cool. So we're going to work with this.
Oh, 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 oh.
So a really good sound source as is. It sounds like it's crafted already from arcade. So again, y'all kind of peeping the pattern, right? Anywhere where the low end isn't being taken up, we got to roll off that stuff because it's going to damage your mix more than you think. It might sound fine in your studio, but if you play it in the club and you start hearing all this, like, where's that coming from? Your vocal. Because it's picking up all the low end.
Your vocal.
It's happened to me. I've experienced it. Oh God, what is that? And I went to the Pro Tools session. I was like, oh dude, I didn't roll off the shaker.
Dang.
The shaker
Dang.
got all that
the
stuff
shaker.
in. Yeah, bro.
Coming in every time they shake it.
Bruh. So that's why
crazy.
That's why you see us doing that. It's probably like a monotonous thing, but that's why we do it.
Yeah. You a little bit more generous because I brick wall that thing.
Oh yeah. Nah, it's you want my whole thing is depth. Like I wanted to still, I still wanted to come off as intense as it did with it, with not knowing. That's why I love EQ so much because it's like, yeah, it sounds thinner and cleaner, but it still carries that characteristic. So,
no, that makes sense.
So like it's right here. The signal stops there. It stops at about like 150-ish. It stops there. So I'm just coming up to right where it ends. And now I don't have to worry about anything below it. Oh, that's right. It stopped because we're over that bar. Okay. So vocal chops, when they sound like this, you don't need to do much. We don't need to bust out EQs and go crazy. Let's listen to it with the record. Now listening to this with the record, it does sound one-dimensional. You have permission to add effects directly on anything that you're going to sound craft. It's mixing. This is where the lines blur. Technically, as a mixer, all you should be able to do is just put a low pass on it and just move on with your life. But if you want to cross the lines a little bit, you can help the producer and say, I got your back, man. I'm going to throw a little bit of delay on it. And you can do that directly on the track. You don't need an aux. You can do an aux if you want. It's just going to make your life more complicated. So I'm going to use, for my subscribers, that's one I think they already know is coming. So Comeback Kid, see what I did there? So I use this a lot to add, or the finishing touches on the delay. And I typically like to go wider, richer, do a high cut and a low cut, and that typically gets the job done. See, now it's starting to finish out those phrases, so we can turn the wetness down. That's all I needed from that. Just a little bit more where it sounds like it's in the track. So if you come across anything like that, find a subtle reverb that you might want to use on a aux, depending on the instrument. Before vocal chop, you are a-okay to sound design that bad boy. Put everything on the track. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. No one's gonna come after you for that. Trust me. I want somebody to come for me for that. So we're gonna shift gears. Guitars. So these sound like double guitars. Let me go to the back end. So we're going to lump these both together in a track stack, or I would do the same thing if I was in Pro Tools. You'll see the same exact process. So I'll name these GTRs, and then we can name these doubles. So what we're gonna do is on the bus or on the track stack, we're rolling off as we're making space and covering our butts so we don't have coming in the mix when they play your stuff in a stadium, as it will happen. Quiz for you guys. What was the frequency that I boosted on the key bass? 1, 2, 3, 60 hertz. So that lets me know if you go below 60 hertz or around 60 hertz, you're getting to where that bass is. Stay away from 60 hertz if you can. So 131, we're safe. Let's do a self-test, self-check, bass. Now they playing nice together. So keep that in mind. Whatever you did last, just keep a little tab on those frequencies that'll help you for space on the spectrum. So I can go a little bit back this way. We can go to about 100. I'm a depth guy, so I like the depth of the guitars. So I'm gonna save some space. That's all I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna throw up another plugin for you guys. That's a One Trick Pony, which is the CLA guitars. Now these are MIDI guitars, so I'm going to mix these slightly more aggressive. See what I'm saying? So it has all this stuff combined in there. So what we're going to do is back off on the delay. Then we're going to back off on the reverb. Sounds great. We're going to compress this a little bit. We don't need any sub. We can do lower, but no sub. Now let's listen to that with the record. Guitars. What's up? So we're going to turn this down now. Each thing is getting enhanced in its own way. Now the key bass and the guitar sound good together with the drums, like so far what we done. Sounds good. So compression, maybe a mild amount of compression, like a subtle amount. I would actually compress before going into CLA. If you compress the CLA guitars, you're compressing everything, the whole gamut. Nothing wrong with that. I'll be curious to see how your approach would be after. That compression would have to be really light, but I would actually compress before going into CLA. So I'm just going to use my favorite, the 2A. I'm not going to slam these. it's just gonna be chef's kiss kind of vibe. All right, we're gonna go a little bit less. Healthy balance. Healthy balance. Barely any major compression. It's just enough to get there driving in with the bass. Now I already hear it's starting to sound like a record. I can already hear that difference with the clarity and the space. So what we're gonna do now is go into the clean guitars. Key guitars. So we're gonna have to affect these again with a different approach, slightly. So we get a little bit faster at this now. We kind of get the pattern. Okay, so now let me listen to this with the record. Yes, you love for me. Not bad. So what we're going to do is do the same thing. We're going to put the CLA behind that. All right, so we got a little bit more life coming out of these now. So what I'm going to do is do the CLA guitars again, but these guitars sound a little too flat to me. So what I'm going to do is utilize the stereo functionality of this. I'm going to turn off the delay completely, a little bit of the club, a little bit of compression, and just start here. Not bad. A little bit much on the reverb for me, so I'm actually just gonna cut the reverb off. Better. Why do I feel like something ain't? Yeah, it's in bus 14. Oh, because it's coming from the plug-in itself. It's coming from the instrument itself. I think it's coming from in here. So let's say that was the case. The producer sent you guitars with reverb on them. We're going to fix it. As they say, no take backsies. So now that since I know that it has reverb on it, I'm actually going to kill the stereo effect. Then what I'm also going to do is make some choices with panning. Logic kind of sucks with this. You got to click on the pan pot and put it on stereo pan. This is true pan. If you don't, you're going to be turning down one side. So we got to do that on both of these, stereo pan. So I'm going to make some decisions really quick. Doubling the bass. We already got a stereo pair of the distortion guitars doubling the bass already. So I'm going to pan the doubling to the left. Let's do the doubling to the left and the chords on the right. Now we're going to make some space for the snare, the kick, the vocal, the key bass. All of that stuff is now going to have room to live down the center. See what I'm saying? And it makes your mix sound wider by making those decisions. And I know I'm killing my master fader, so let's see what's going on over here. Yep. Now we're gonna backtrack real quick.
Introducing the revolutionary plug-in for the 21st century. The ultimate solution to all your creative needs. Question: are you tired of hitting roadblocks in your creative process? I know I was. Do you yearn for sounds that would take your production to new heights? Well, I'm here to tell you, look no further. With my cutting-edge plug-in, your brain will be firing on all cylinders, unlocking a world of endless possibilities. Imagine effortlessly finding drum patterns with the perfect melodies, effortlessly creating live arrangements that leave a lasting impression on your audience. And let's not forget about this heartfelt chords that tug at the heartstring. This plugin is not just any ordinary tool. It's a game changer that will revolutionize your music production experience. With this intuitive interface and powerful features, it's like having a personal assistant dedicated to taking your music to the next level. Yeah, new heights. So I ask you today, are you ready to unlock your full creative potential? I know I am. So I say, don't settle for anything less than extraordinary. Get your hands on this plugin. It's the future, and watch your music soar to the new heights. The possibilities are limitless. I give you the world of Juice by D-Lo.
D-Lo got the juice, juice, juice. D-Lo got the juice, juice, juice. D-Lo got the juice, 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 juice. Everybody get the juice, juice. Everybody get the juice.
Let's backtrack to the drum bus. The way to kill those transients coming in like that is by, again, this is a pro hack right here on your drum bus, and really a lot of your buses, but specifically the drum bus. We are going to put a limiter on the drum bus, and we're going to use this to tame those transients so everything is not out of whack. You can use any limiter you want that has a threshold and a ceiling. But what we're going to do is tame these transients. Now we don't talk about gain staging much and why that's important. This is why. I can barely even put a limiter on the drum. So again, we recorded into a template. So what we're going to do is do some small problem solving. It's not going to take long at all. So on the drums bus, we're going to check these plugins, see what's going on here. We're going to gain stage our way through. Cool. I see what's happening here. No problem at all. So what we could do is easy way to gain stage is to grab a gain tool. The virtual mix rack has one. Probably passed it. Trimmer. We're going to turn down the drums out of the virtual mix rack going into the pool tech. Perfect. And then we're going to do the same thing for the pool tech. Now we got headroom. This is why gain staging is important, actually. And of course, this plugin is fine. Now we can check our limiter again to see where we are. This is what I want to see. Nothing. So we can come down. And I'm basically looking for the peak. So right when it starts beeping, just a subtle beep, we doing good. Now we can turn the drums up. See that? Now let's look at the master. Got way more room to play with now. We're not in the red no more. So now we can put our master bus processing back on. All right, so see how that makes a difference by gain staging. So that's really important. We don't talk about that much in gospel mixing. Gain staging.
That's a good point, man. Very good point.
So that eliminated a lot of the peaking problems. Then what you could do from there is you could take your whole mix from that and turn the whole mix down more if you want more headroom on your master fader. For this sake, we're good. Like we're peachy. We're where we need to be. All right, cool. Gain staging. That was a random good lesson. So piano, Rhodes, stuff like that, I'm gonna lump those all in one bus. Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna lump those together because we're moving quick, and I want these to be affected as a unit. I to really take stuff like this and combine it like one patch, and then if I need to stem it out, I can always just solo them out. So I'm gonna name this keys. My strategy with keys is typically how it fits in the song, so that's what I'm listening for. And I'm actually going to turn these vocals off temporarily. Remember, the danger zone is 60 hertz. All right, now it's starting to sound tight and real, like it's performing together. Now we have to think about something. There are sections in the song where the keys are playing without the bass. See there? So we have to account for that. What's a good medium? The easiest way to do it is to duplicate track and have one with more low end, then have another one with less low end. I'm running low on CPU. My computer is literally telling on me if you haven't noticed. So what we're going to do is find a healthy medium for the same track to handle both. So let's just call it at 107. Cool. Then keys typically like to sit around 1K and somewhat 2K. So let's come over here. Then you see what I'm saying? That's your phone vibes. Same thing with, is that 1K? Let's do the 1K. That's where your keys are. That's where most people are going to hear it on their systems. They're not going to hear the glory like that. So what I'm going to do is roll off graciously to 24. All right, 86. I'm parking the car there. I'm not going no lower than that. Because we got to prepare for, when everything else comes in. So real quick now, we're going to move kind of rapid fire. We're going to go over to LA2A. All right, a little intense. We can go a little less. I like that, and I'm going to keep it hot temporarily because I'm going to throw something at you guys that we haven't seen yet, which is vitamin. I use vitamin on keys because it literally taps into the characteristics of the key. So it EQs it for sure, but it really captures just unique things about the keys, the hammer, the string vibrations, all of that stuff. So let's bump this up. You hear that? It's picking. You hear all that, like the release? It's picking up all of that stuff. So that's why I love to use vitamin, because it picks up character of the keys, not just the just like a general EQ. So I'm gonna bump up those two frequencies, the same two. This is gonna bulletproof us for when the vocals get in, and then now we can turn the keys down. Notice the more I turn it down, it's still present. All right, now we got the organ. I already hear all the rumble. Ooh. You hear all that? Ooh. So roll off. Now this one I'm not gonna be generous about. I'm not gonna be generous about rolling this off. I'm going to do 72 hertz, and we are going to roll off, because that right there, sometimes that can sneak through. Peace. There's the organ. Told you, keys live around that 1K, 2K area. Just wanted to listen for that. So we're definitely going to not use half as much as that. We're going to narrow out this cue. When you find those bands like that, even when you turn it down, it's still present. That's how you know you where you need to be. This doesn't need a ton of compression because the way I played, but we're just going to put a safety net of compression on here. All right. So now we're going into the synth stuff. So now we're going to have to move rapid fire. We got a choir in here. Chords. All right. So we're going to go to Pro Q3, and we're going to roll off some of this stuff that we don't need. And then I already feel in my spirit a build up around this area. Yep. I feel a build up. So I'm going to sweep for where the annoying frequency is. Found you. All right, let's turn that down. Peace and tranquility. How do you know to look for that? That comes with ear training. The more you listen to frequencies and stuff, you'll hear harmonics come out at you. You'll be like, what the heck is that? Just do what I did. Narrow your cue, sweep for it, and then put it down. Landslide of a difference. That's all I'm doing on the choir. It doesn't need any compression. It's just a nice layer effect of something different to have chords. Everyone's favorite part, the synth. Keep in mind how that sounds. Full, raw, organic. Put it in with the song. I'm keeping the nature of it. I don't want to mess with it. I love that sound from that brass, so I'm just literally just playing nice, playing the field, just playing nice. I'm not touching it. That's it. I'm not messing with it anymore. I'm moving on with my life. I just put an EQ on it and I'm moving on because it sounds good. Same thing with the strings. Again, we're running out of space. How many instruments do we got around that 300, 400 range? We're running out of space. See what I'm saying? Ooh, ooh. Peace. All right, now we're moving kind of rapid fire now. Orchestra hits, same thing, guys. It's just orchestra hits. I'm going to keep some low end, but I'm going to keep a lot more than you think. I'm actually going to keep about 40 hertz of the orchestra hits because believe it or not, they actually go down that low. Feel that? It's kind of, you need headphones to but it's some rumble down there. I mean, you can look at the graph and see. So let's go back to 30. And here we go. Yeah, better. It's got like a kind of thing going on below it. It feels good. So I'm gonna keep some more of that. Bells and all that, synth leads, all of that. Seriously, guys, all I'm gonna do is just put it in the bus and name it aux, because it's auxiliaries. It's auxiliaries. So all I'm gonna do is roll off some low end. I know when I do a slide down on the synth lead, I know I'm gonna want some of that 50 hertz of that. So we're gonna check that back here. You hear that? Keep a little bit of that, and that's cool. I don't need any major compression or nothing like that. Vocal shouts. What do we have here? Oh, just that one thing. I think it happens one more time. So what I'm going to do for that vocal chop is get that 2K. Remember I told you about that. I could use a Logic EQ for that. It doesn't take much. I actually want more of a rinky-dink EQ kind of sound on that. What? See that? Now you can hear that way more. Bet. So I'm going to roll off everything coming up into it. And then I'm going to roll off everything behind it. And there it is. And we just need to get the volume straight. And then all of our effects and transitions and sweeps and all of this stuff, we're going to do another track stack. This is going to help you guys a whole lot when you're mixing. If you see a whole bunch of effects like this, all you need to do is lump them in and be generous with your roll-offs. You might have some rumble, somebody might have a boom, so you might want to separate it. You just need to be mindful. But for the most part, for effects, especially for the kind that I got, it don't require all of that. We can go ahead and pull my brother, the John Mike special, roll that bad boy off. If we was in another genre, say another word. But anyway, we're gonna keep going. Yeah, see all that kind of stuff, you can roll off. Oh, we have an outro keys situation. The outro keys. Now, why Logic won't let me go to the end? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. The outro keys is something to set up another song. But I'm going to give it the same treatment, literally. Create track stack, especially if it sounds like the way it does, got a unique characteristic. I'm just going to roll off. We got some vinyl sounds and crowds and all that stuff, and well, vinyl sounds and kids and all that. I could literally hear the in my ears. So immediate roll off. Immediate. Oh, that sounds better. Cool. Now we can get to the vocals. So I'm gonna make this easy for you guys.
Oh, well, hello there.
Let's go to where she starts singing. Well, hello there.
Talking about me across the way. They talking about the things I did yesterday.
So I hear a couple of things with this. First of all, let's start off with the chain. Let's start from nothing. Turn all these off. Turn the effects off.
Talking about me across the way.
Okay.
They talking about the things I did yesterday.
I typically start off with a de-esser on the front end and listen to the vocals too, if they actually have S's and T's and stuff like that. You don't need a de-esser on oohs. I'm guilty of doing this, working from a template. You don't need a de-esser on somebody saying ooh and ah. So first, check to see if there's any S's and plosives and all of that.
Talking about me across the way. They talking about the things I did yesterday. Talking about me across the way.
So it's nothing intense so far.
I did yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you give towards me, so I give you.
So I'll start there. I'll actually start with a de-esser on as my first line of defense for the plosives. Then after that, I'm going to go into RVox. This is typically what I like to do. RVox is basically like a really fire compressor, but it has its own unique kind of characteristics to it. Notice we don't have like we only just have compression and gain. We don't really have a whole lot, so it's doing multiple things at once.
I did yesterday, and I know I was wrong for a lot of the things.
It sounds warmer. So I like to use that because it gives me the illusion of outboard gear. Like, oh, I recorded with something on the vocal. So that's like the first realm of stuff. So technically, you could put that on the actual tracks themselves where it says lead, all of the leads and stuff. You could technically put those here, but I got it up here because in Logic, you can throw as many plugins on one bus, you know, as you need. I don't use the infinity EQ anymore. But this is the EQ that came with it. The template.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot.
And I know I was wrong. Yeah, you are wrong for EQing the vocal. Like, don't fix that. Okay, we're gonna put some Pro Q on here and actually EQ this vocal.
Yesterday.
Roll off.
And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you did yesterday. And I know I was wrong for
You got to get used to listening for frequencies that bother you.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did.
So I'm gonna find it. That's a little bit too, yeah, that's narrower.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for
That's coming from her mic. So we gotta turn that down.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said.
All right, now let's get over here.
Yesterday.
That's the good stuff.
And I know I was wrong for.
I actually want that to a certain degree because I want to be able to introduce that to the mix, but the right way. So I'm gonna hold off on all that stuff.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love.
Nothing else really bothers me, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Now we're gonna go into some compression.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot.
That's a lot of compression for no reason. So again, template.
Yeah.
This is where it kind of falls apart. You have to tweak it.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you give to.
Rule of thumb, if you hear one compressor doing a whole lot, something is wrong. Especially on the vocal. If you hear one compressor sounding like it's 10 of them, you got to back off like I did. You got to use your ears. So that's a reasonable amount. We don't need, this template is really trash in terms of vocals. We don't need C4 after that compressor. So I'm actually just going to take that off. And I'm going to go into the Pool Tech next. And start to enhance. We took a lot away, so let's bring back some sauce.
Yesterday, and I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you give towards me, so I give you everything. Yeah, yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't.
Remember I told you about that de-esser? This is why I put that first.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me.
Oh, that's a pleasant air now. I like that. So I'm gonna save that. We're gonna move that there. We're gonna actually, that's fine. We can keep it as is, because I see the CLA 2A is next.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said.
Okay, now it's time to turn on the music.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you give towards me, so I give you everything. Yesterday. Yesterday. And I yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you give towards me, so I give you everything.
So it's just putting her vocal more in the front. Sorry, I got a little quiet there. I was focused. I was dialed in. 2K, remember I told you about that, the human voice where we recognize it in terms of perceived loudness is 2K. That's like a sweet spot. You bump that, vocal starts to come out.
Yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did yesterday.
Okay, now we can put some effects back. So the effects of my choice is H reverb and H delay. These are my weapons of choice. I got the delay in a ping pong, so it's going to go left to right, and it's literally just going to add a vibe.
Yesterday, and I know.
All right, let's unmute
yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you keep towards me, so I give you everything. Yeah.
See how it puts her in the vibe? Now we're vibing with the track, especially in the intro.
It's your girl Chastity here, and
right here.
Yeah.
Now, one thing to help you when a vocal sounds like it's sticking out like a sore thumb, the rule of thumb, see what I did there? Thumb is sometimes it's simply that low end of that bass of their voice. So you might want to come back in there and roll off a little bit of the bass so they don't sound like they stick out like a sore thumb. You want it to sound like it's a part of the same unit.
Right. I ain't talking about it. Right. I ain't talking about it. Across the way. Right.
Yeah, computers just
about the things I did yesterday. And I know I was wrong for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you keep towards me, so I give you everything.
Now, there's some spots where I like her low end, and there's some spots where I don't like it as much. So this is why I had the multi-band compressor on the vocal. The safest place to put the multi-band is most likely going to be before that last bit of EQ. So now you could put C4 back, and I'll show you why it was there in the first place. The multi-band is going to give you some sauce, like some really good sauce. And then we're literally done after this because the BGV sound perfect with the template stuff. So we're going to reach for C4. And I'm going to clear this out, meaning I'm going to zero everything out. And I'm going to find where the base of her vocal is. And I'm going to enhance and control simultaneously. Right in here. So we can actually bypass the low end, the stuff that we don't need. We can bypass that. This is the juice of where that low end is. I love it and hate it at the same time. So we're going to control it by controlling this band with compression.
Things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace towards me, so I give you everything.
So now every time it comes in, it's gonna duck that frequency of her voice. Let's listen to it with the track.
All for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you keep towards me, so I give you everything.
Now that's so I give you. We can channel that now and boost some of that up. I'll boost it up about 1.5 dB.
All for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve. All for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the grace you keep towards me, so I give you everything.
See what I'm saying? That's the purpose of a multi-band. You can jump in there and accentuate a frequency that may be a love-hate thing. And that's how you could get a really fire vocal chain. What's also bugging me right now is these effects. We need to EQ the effects. Yes, you need to EQ your effects. Believe it or not, you want to roll off the low end on the effects too, because the effects can carry other frequencies that you're not mindful of, and you'd be like, man, why do I get a low rumble when I hear reverb? Because it has it in there.
All for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me.
And I'm gonna do a roll off on the top end of it too, of the reverb.
I don't deserve the praise you give towards me, so I give you everything. Yeah.
Now the whole song is starting to sound clean. That's why when I played the rough, hear that it was rough, even though the blend between instruments sounded good, but the mix sonically needs a lot of work.
All for a lot of the things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the praise you give towards me, so I give you everything. Yeah, I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do. I don't understand why you chose me. Cause I don't deserve it, and I didn't earn it, yeah, yeah. Yes, you love for me. Oh.
Last but not least, de-esser. We're gonna de-ess on the way out of the lead vocal.
Things that I did and I said, but you still love me. I don't deserve the praise you give towards me, so I give you everything. Yeah, I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do. I don't understand why you chose me. Cause I don't deserve it, and I didn't earn it, yeah, yeah. Yes, you love for me. Oh.
Boom. And we got a mix. That's like what you call mix one after we do that. Of course, we got to automate and stuff like that, but everything is living where it needs to live. I hear the rev coming on.
Oh no, I was just telling you it's smacking, bro. Like I know, like you said, it's mix one on that, and I know if you can run through just your chain, because I don't want. I mean, we've been on almost 2 hours now. That's you know, we having fun. You know, but you know what I mean? We do have to respect, you know, the people's times, and I know they enjoying it. We're getting a lot of great content, you know, and this is what we do. So there's a QR code, like right, if I can get my fingers right, looking at the screen, right here, right here. This little thing. So it says Jan's Mix Presets. So if you don't know, Jan, of course, is a content creator and a product developer, and he has his own products. So a lot of what you're seeing right there that you've been seeing him use is a part. He's been using the template, you know, using that phraseology, template. You've been hearing that back and forth all throughout this stream. And that's because he's using his template that he sells on his website. So QR code right there, right here, this little thing right here that you can screenshot, this little thing will take you to his website, and you can support him because he has been pouring out blessings. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord, the man is, I mean, I had my joint on mute because the whole time I'm sitting over here like, ooh, I'm over here making all kind of noises that the mic was just not on because he's just killing it. So I didn't interrupt at all. So y'all make sure y'all hit that QR code right there, right? If I get, I'm trying to look at it again. Right there. I'm gonna get my orientation right. Right there. Hit that. Screenshot it, and what you can do is you can go in your camera roll afterwards, and you can literally tap it, and it will take you to the website. If you're on iPhone, I can't speak for y'all Android heads. I don't know if that works, but I do know for sure it works for Apple devices. You can screenshot it and then click it and go and check out his plethora of stuff.
Yeah, mixed templates.
Mixed templates, yeah. And so here's the funny thing. I'm gonna put a couple of other things up here that's hilarious. So I was looking through. I was at one point while you was mixing, I went and I actually took my headphone off and I was listening to one of the videos we did. So we did this class about a year ago. I'm trying to find the QR code so I can put it up on the screen. I had it queued up. There it is. Boom. We did this class right here. Advanced Production and Mixing Techniques for Logic Pro. So here's the hilarious thing. In this class, you are actually producing this very song.
That's right. I remember that.
Because I kept listening, and I was like, I think my man's already covered the production on this. And so I had to go verify, because again, we've been done released so much stuff in the last year that I forgot. And so I went and listened to it. So if you want to get the insight, this has been dope checking out the mix part of it. But for those of you who want to know more about the production aspect of it, Jan has this is a 2-hour plus class that is on our site with this QR code right here. You can scan this and screenshot it, and it'll take you to $30. What it does, I see you guys, somebody said someone scanned the QR code. Appreciate you. Some people are going to check it out. Go check that out, because $29 to invest in, and you'll be able to see the actual roots of this. I was checking it out on the side. I was trying to, but it would be like too complicated to try to route it in and show you guys a snippet of this. But because I was trying to figure it out off screen, but I was like, no, it's not even worth it. I'll just talk about it. He literally, you could see the foundations. He talks about the chords he's playing. I mean, he literally spells out the chords like, yeah, this is F sharp, da 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 da. He's literally spelling out the chords. He's literally showing like the sounds that he used, the patches that he pulled up, everything in Omnisphere, everything in Keyscape, all of that stuff like that. All of those sounds and stuff that you're interested in terms of the production value on it, Jan is pointed out in this class right here. So screenshot that, get on that real quick. That's $30. It's not going to cost you anything major. You'll spend that like this week on lunch. You know what I'm saying? So I'm tapping into your lunch money a little bit. So go ahead, grab that. That's going to bless you. Also up here in this corner, this screenshot as well. This one right here, this QR code take you to Jan's website so you can get his mix templates and these vocal chains and everything he's been showing in this thing. You can get it right there. So these are two ways. This, if I can get my orientation right. All right, we're going to get this right. Here and here. These two things. There we go. Grab those two things, and they will take you to places where you can be able to get some stuff to help you enhance that. The format of which he flows is just like this. Like this class is pretty much the same format. Like, it's just the Rev just going in for like a solid 2 hours, like a scientist, literally talking about sonics, talking about EQ, talking about everything that we talked about in this stream. The Rev is like totally like unleashed. We unleashed the Kraken. And this dude went I didn't say nothing for 2 hours. This dude just went ham and just did his thing. And so $30, you can invest a little bit into your knowledge base, because it's all about shedding. We shed chords, and musicians and church kids and stuff like that, we know like about shedding and doing all of that thing like that. And when we get together and we like pour out and we connect and we give knowledge on playing and chords and progressions and licks and chops. But it's rarely stuff like this done in the mixed world where we actually shed this type of knowledge. And that's part of what the resource is. Like, I love to give it all away for free, but we got to keep the lights on. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep the lights on. So this is our humble way of keeping the lights on, and your support really means a ton to us. Both Jan on his own website, those links that I put up, those QR codes that goes to Jan's website, we don't take any of that. That's all the Rev. That's the tip jar for the Rev. So if you go over there and you hit his website and you buy one of his mix templates or his Hunter 808s or all of his packs, this boy got like 40 products over there that you can tap into and really like change your life for real, like production. And none of that, there's no affiliate links, none of that. That's all, that's the tip jar for the Rev. So tip him real good. Check out his website, which I'll put that up on the screen. This is just Jan's website all together. It's yhuntermusic.com. So make sure you just go ahead and grab over to the website. Check it out. It's a ton of stuff over there. Make sure you're also following my man at yhuntermusic pretty much everywhere. Make sure you connecting with him, because his YouTube channel is this twice a week. You know, this dude is just doing videos on this stuff twice a week. So he's always ready. I knew I could call him to get in.
The vocal chain on the BGVs, it was the same exact chain that you saw in the lead. That's why the joke is on everybody else. But to walk you through. It's a de-esser first. Let me go into a section where all the BGVs are loud and proud. Probably all through here, honestly. A lot of the work is done in her singing. You're more fascinated with her vocal than you are the chain, believe it or not.
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do.
So that's first.
I don't understand. I don't understand why you love me.
And it's still a lot to me, honestly.
I don't understand why
That's
you love me.
reasonable, something like that. Then our Vox is next.
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do.
It's coming in a little hot, so we can go a little less.
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do.
All right. And then the Pro Q3.
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do.
All right. Multitask. Remember somebody asked me about how do I hear the mud and the clutter like this?
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do. I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand.
There it is. So just turn it down.
I don't understand why you
Oh,
love me.
God.
I don't understand why you do.
And that's still a little.
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do. I don't understand why you chose me, 'cause I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why.
There it is. Okay. Then we have the R comp. It's going to warm the vocals up a
I
lot.
don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do. I don't understand why.
And then we went to the CLA. I mean, sorry, the
I
C4.
don't understand why you love me.
This thing's just,
I
yeah.
don't
Turn the
understand
loop
why
off.
you love me. I don't understand why you do. I don't understand why you chose me, 'cause
Full tech. So she's doing a lot of like oohs and ahs kind of vibes, for lack of a better term. So I don't need that 2K bump like I did on the lead. The lead, I want to have that 2K. So full tech is next. CLA again.
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do.
It's going to sound good when the music comes in. Watch.
I don't understand why you chose me, 'cause I don't deserve it, and I didn't earn it, yeah.
So now we can have more of that low end that we took out. We can actually use some more of it since we tamed it the right way.
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do. I don't understand why you chose me, 'cause I don't deserve it, and I didn't earn it, yeah. Yes, your love for me. Whoa.
See, it's in your face, but it's tamed. Then we got some air going on here.
I don't understand why you love me. I don't understand why you do. I don't understand why you chose me.
And then the last de-esser. This is the last de-esser. And with that said, that's the last thing in the chain. That's my computer telling me, Jan, that's it. That's all we got. With that said, that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Love
again,
it.
I guess the last thing to take away from this is just templates work. Yeah, but they do the job? Yeah, but you gotta, as you can see, tweak. It's gonna take some tweaking, but I've done the best that I could with my templates to help you guys, at least to record. You know, she recorded through the template, so it sounded good when we were tracking. So So yeah,
definitely. No, that's super dope, man. You've been smacking the game, man. These last couple of hours, and we appreciate you taking out the time in your day one to jump in and fill in, substitute teach for Shelton. So guys, you make sure that you follow Mr. Hunter. Follow him over on his socials. He does some crazy stuff on Instagram, y'all. I'm just telling you, he's just Instagram. He doesn't have stock in the company, but the company has stock in him. Let's just say this: like they just singing his praises over there. Jan is Instagram at this point. He just is. He is the algorithm. So make sure you check him out over there. Make sure you grab his website, all of those things like that. Let's see, I want to make sure you guys don't miss anything. Make sure you guys grab Jan's presets as well. That's a QR code that'll take you straight to his presets. And then lastly, and I'm gonna leave y'all alone, I promise, the last thing is this advanced production and mixing techniques, Lord have mercy, for Logic Pro. Yo guys, make sure y'all grab these QR codes and go check these things out. Invest in yourself, because that's just where we are. It's all about growth. It's all about connecting and shedding this information and shedding these tools and these things that we use and making it pop, man. But I appreciate you, Rev, man. I appreciate you taking out the time and doing this for me, man.
absolutely, man. My pleasure to be back, man. As old cousin Jan coming back for the cookout. Yeah, always down, man. Always down.
Yes, sir. We're gonna have him back on some more stuff. Moving forward, guys. All right, we appreciate y'all. It's been great. It's been amazing. Let me cue up my music, get on there and do all of that stuff like that. You know how we do. Hit the like button, the share button, even though this is going down after after we finish. We'll take the likes even though we delete this after this is over. But you will see this stuff again. Make sure you guys show up for the next vibe and the next thing that we're going to be doing, because you're always going to learn something. You're always going to grow something. And as Jan say, you got to give your last closing, the closing that you normally say. What is it? We ain't nowhere near done.
No, yeah, the old joint. Yeah, we ain't nowhere near done, y'all. Yeah, we ain't nowhere near done, y'all.
We just getting fired up. All right, folks, man, we'll tap back in with y'all on the next one. We out. Hey.
Yo, I hope you enjoyed this exclusive clip from our Mix Monday live streams. We do these live on Monday nights, so make sure you grab the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it when we go live. If you want to check out more of these, check out this playlist right over here. And if you're interested in taking your mixing or production to the next level, check out the templates and the links that we have below. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.